Hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I can hear you fine now.
Good. Cool.
Sweet. So have you used this site before to give mock interviews?
I've given interviews before. I haven't done an interview yet.
Oh, okay, awesome. Cool. So I guess you're on the flip side now. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's
I'm
jump.
trying out both sides.
Cool. Yeah. So let me just jump right into the technical question then, since you're familiar with the site. Given a list of whole positive numbers, how would you go about finding two numbers in that list that sum up to a given target number? And you can assume there are no duplicates in the list. So I'll drop some of the details in the comments.
Okay, cool. Python's cool with you?
Sorry, what?
Python's okay with you?
Yeah, Python's fine. Yeah, that's whatever you're most comfortable with. Okay.
We have a list of whole numbers, and given that list, we need to find two numbers that sum up to a given value.
Exactly. And it would be convenient if you could print it out. So print in this scenario with target 3, print 1 and 2. Cool. And then yes, so assume input list is valid to list of whole costs. Yep.
Okay. Can I assume that the list will always have a valid answer?
No, you cannot assume that. So that's a good question to ask.
Okay, so I think I've gotten, obviously there's a naive answer, which is you go through the list once, and for every value you check the list again. That's n squared. I've got a solution which is down to n, which is that you essentially iterate through the list, and you put them all into some kind of hash table, and then you iterate through the list a second time, and then for each value in the list, you subtract it from the target value, and then you check the hash table to see if the target value is inside it. And so, okay, we got to print both of them. So you put them on the list into a hash table, and then you loop through it again. What you do is you take the value, you subtract it from the target value, and then you find the complement number that you need to find, and then you check the hash table to see if the complement is inside that.
Perfect.
And so, yeah.
Cool. So you described two solutions here. Can you describe to me space-time-wise what the second one would be?
I think it would be n, because you iterate the list once. I mean, maybe like 3n. So you iterate through the list once, put the values in, and then you iterate through the list again to check for its complements. But the checking process would be constant because they're in a hash table.
Cool. And in this problem, do you know if you're generally what I like to tell the candidates is you definitely want to clarify what you're optimizing for. So like space
so
or
in this case,
because in both solutions they optimize.
So in this one I'm optimizing for, I guess, time, because I'm producing an extra data structure to keep track of it. Maybe if there might be a way to modify the original data structure to make it use less space. But I guess in this scenario, is the goal to save space or time?
Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of the question I was hoping you'd ask. So
okay.
The way I generally do the interviews as the interviewer is like I like to give like feedback iteratively, kind of over the course. So yeah, and this problem definitely optimized for time. And yeah, it's good to generally ask, so you have a better sense of the problem.
That makes sense.
Cool. But yeah, your solution is definitely optimized for time. Definitely have to do at least one iteration of the list to get the answer. So why don't you go ahead and start coding it out? If you don't have any more questions about like other things and
sure.
how to write it out, then yeah, go for it.
Well, I'm going to run this one time to just make sure everything's going smoothly. And then cool. Let's code that up. For the target value, do you need it to say okay. So quick question, which wasn't brought up before. So there could be more than one valid answer, obviously. So here we got 1 and 2. We could also have 0 and 3. Do you want multiple valid answers?
Yeah, so that's a good question to ask. One single valid answer is fine. And also you won't have 0 in the list since it'll be positive numbers.
Okay, so only positive numbers. One valid answer is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want just return null or return false, or we'll just return an empty string if there's nothing?
Yeah, if there's no valid pairs, then you can just print out no valid pairs. That's fine. So that's a good question. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think I'm good to go for now.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna just set myself up with a few test cases.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Actually, I'm just gonna stick with the first one, and we'll write a few test cases afterwards.
Yeah, that's generally what I like to ask after the problem is candidate writes out a few test cases, and we can look at the outputs together. I think if there's anything.
So let me just. So wait, you said you'd like to do that first, or do that afterwards?
After is fine. If you're used to TDD, then if it helps you code out the solution, either way is fine with me, honestly. As long as we can have a discussion about why you chose those test cases and how you generally like to do your code coverage.
Sure. How about I'll go forward and then we'll discuss that afterwards.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's some kind of set value that I could use, but I don't remember what the Python set is. So I'm just going to do it like this.
Okay.
All right, so let me just run through the line by line and make sure I'm not missing anything. So we start by making a value dictionary. That's a list. And then for every value in values, we iterate through it, and we add the value to the dictionary. And I just put a true value there, but it's arbitrary. And then we go through the list again, and if we get the target we get the complement value, or the target complement I called it. Not a great name, but whatever.
Yeah, it's okay.
Equals value addictive value. We can assume that value is in there. We don't have to really check for null because, like, obviously, like, it has to be from the previous line minus the target value. We could do extra checks for whether that's a valid target complement, but I don't think it's really necessary for what we're doing because, you know, if it's an invalid number, it just won't be in the value dictionary. And then we check if the target complement's in the value dictionary, which is Python's way of just, you know, if it contains, then we return the complement and the value in the format that we presented. And actually, I guess technically we want to do it the other way around because in our scenario, we would iterate to the value first, and then we would find its complement, which would be the target value, and that would produce us 1 and 2. At which point we return that as a string, and then if that doesn't work, we return no valid pairs. So let me run this and sort of see how that goes. And we had a nice little.
Cool. Looks like just a few small things to tweak, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I've been not working with Python for a while. So we got false. So I guess let's figure out why that's false.
What do you generally code in?
Right now at work I'm doing JavaScript and Java. Python generally is quite cool for the projects and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, and generally good for interviews too because it's kind of easier to write.
It's pseudocode. Okay, so let's take a quick look. I'm going to take a quick look at the end of my. I'm going to throw in some prints just because. Can you debug in this? I'm not sure. Can you debug in this console? Do you know?
I don't think you can debug. Generally, what I've seen people do is like drop in print statements, that kind of thing.
Okay. So I guess the few states I want to check is first that my value dictionary landed up what I thought it was, and then also that my target complement landed up what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. And we can also get rid of this hello world thing that's going on over here. Yeah, there you go. Hello world, false.
Yeah, that should be sufficient to let me know that we are running through the stack where we think it is. So,
let's check it out.
So our complement is always -2, which
yikes.
Our values in the dictionary are the values that they should be. Target complement is -2. Why is that? Is our target correct? Yeah.
Is it because you're doing true -2? So true is just 0. Like you're doing yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Actually, I didn't even know that. Yeah. Good call. Good catch.
There we go. Now I think you just have to pull it out somehow.
Yeah. Target complement. Wait. What's? Oh yeah. I just got to. False. Okay. Let me.
Why would it even print false? Oh, because you have equals there. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. I said equals there. I guess a way of asserting it.
Yeah, this would probably be easier.
That's
interesting.
That's why. Because 13 and 10 is the first valid pair in a list. So 1 and 2 is not the right answer.
So are you subtracting them?
The goal is to find the target of the two, which means that if I do the value minus the target, that's not giving me the two that work together. So
yeah. So for this, you would want 1 and 2. So you want to find the sum of two numbers that equal the target.
Yeah. Sorry, give me like 30 seconds just to kind of.
No, take your time. No rush.
So in this case, we want 3 minus the value. The value would mean 3 minus what it is. So in this case, okay, that was also very good. 1 and 2 becomes that, which equals 1 and 2. And then we can run a few other tests. So like one test I'm going to run is where there's no valid pairs.
Sounds good.
So in this case, I'll just get rid of the 2, and there should be no valid pair. I'm also going to run it where there's multiple valid pairs in there. So here there's multiple valid pairs, and the right answer here should still be 1 and 4. I guess the way in which this would fail. Here, I don't actually think this would still work, but I think the thing that we need to check. You know where this would fail? The solution. This fail.
You tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. So no. I got this. So if the value is 4, and we have this 2, 2, 2, and 2. Now the problem with this one is that 2 and 2 is correct.
It'll only be one entry. Yeah.
It'll only be one entry. Now I'm trying to think about the consequences of this though, because so in this case we do the target minus 2 and then we check inside and that's correct. So this would be correct, but this one would be wrong, and that could probably be solved perhaps by keeping a counter and then checking to see if, like, instead of putting true there, doing a counter, and then when we like if there's two of the same thing, I'm forgetting the word. We don't iterate it, but you know what I'm talking about. We add one to the add one to the value, so find the value.
Yeah.
Then
fetch the value, add 1, put it as the new value for the key. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't allow the same thing to check for itself, because this over here should say no valid pairs, but will probably still return true.
Well, if you're going through that second one in the new way, you would only do one iteration in the 4 values, so it would just be 1, right? And then it wouldn't work. So like if 2 checked for itself, and it's only 1, you would know that 4 over 2 is 2, so it needs at least 2. So you'll be able to do a little math there and figure it out.
Yeah. So would you like me to modify the code so that it can handle this case over here?
That would be good.
Okay. Let me take care of that.
Sure.
Sorry. Just. Sorry, I made this overly complicated. So first we're just checking if it's in the value dictionary. Then we're checking if it equals its complement. If it equals its complement, then we need to check if that value is more than 1. And okay, I think this might be what we're looking for. Okay, so first we check if it's in the value dictionary. Then we check if it equals its complement. If it does not, if the complement is not greater than 1, because you've gone down this path, if it's not greater than 1, then we continue and we keep iterating. Otherwise, we return the value straight.
Okay.
This seems prone to bugs. So I want to run through this again just to double check, just in my head.
Good call. Yeah, definitely want to catch it on your on your own first before the tests, find something.
Yeah.
So, good call.
I think I like the solution. Let me. Cool. This still got us the wrong value. So this got us the right value for the last one that I was hoping for, but it got us the wrong value for this over here.
So false. That's a valid solution. So we'll probably want to put in the debugger and see what's going on here. I'm sure it's related to the counter stuff because this is the case where you have two duplicates.
I think it needs to be greater than 0 and not greater than 1 is what the problem is. Because 0 would be what it gets. It needs to be
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. So I'm just looking over your code right now to make sure there aren't any breaks. And a question for you is, do you feel like you've covered everything with the test cases?
Let me try it again. We are assuming that I'm receiving valid input, correct? So, I'm not going to get a target.
So,
yes. Okay. Sorry. Go on.
That's what I was gonna say. I was hoping you were asking because I did mention the input list is valid, but I never said the target number would be valid. So, yeah, you definitely want to try with a negative number, for example, or 0, or, those kinds of things.
Not only that, I think 0, and I think also the value 1 would also not work because 1 would require 2 positive complements. So,
right. Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, that's a good catch. So, you definitely want to test those things out.
Sure. So, okay, so let me just run through it again. We've got valid case, we've got there's no pairs. We've got two of the same numbers. We've got two of the same numbers with no complements.
Mm-hmm.
We've got invalid targets because they're too low. The targets, I'm going to assume we're not going to get like some kind of overflow with the target numbers. They're not going to be too high. And
okay.
I don't think there's any other extreme value in the targets that might throw this off. Okay. No, I think I like them. I think I like my my test for the target values. I'm not
cool.
going to
give it a shot.
Let me do one with an empty list as well.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Yeah. In this scenario, you can assume the input list is valid with whole positive, but I like where your mind's at.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go through this again. Cool. That looks good.
Great.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with the solution in terms of speed. Obviously, it's not the most space efficient as we mentioned initially. I think I covered a decent amount of tests. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this.
Great. Yeah. So that was my question. Some things I basically like. Some reasons why I basically like asking this question is, one, it gives you a sense of the candidate's ability to ask questions before coding. Two is it lets me kind of on a bit more deeper syntactical level see how well they can code this out and structure their thinking. And three is seeing that they cover like all kinds of edge cases in their tests and they ask the right questions and basically they have their head in the right place. Like you could have just done 1 and 2 and also no valid pairs and it would have been pretty poor performance if that was the case. But you definitely found the one thing through testing is the scenario of duplicates. So that's very good. Only feedback I could give on this interview or that would make it better is if you actually thought of the duplicates thing or, whether both inputs were going to be valid, those kinds of tiny things, like if you asked them before you even started coding, that would have been like, super impressive, that kind of thing. But otherwise, I thought this interview was fine. I would definitely give it a pass to the next round. Yeah, I mean, that's my feedback.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think, I guess feedback for you, because I guess we're supposed to do both ways. I thought you were really clear. I thought you gave a question that was like really easy to get started on right away, and you also were very good at like not giving me the answer, but also sort of kind of working with me through it. So I appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Cool. Good to hear it. And it's kind of cool you do interviews on this site too. How's the experience been with you? Because I haven't given an interview to someone on this site that is also an interviewer.
So I started as an interviewer because I ran into the founder at like some kind of meetup, and I decided to try it just kind of as a courtesy. And I kind of wanted to just try both sides. I'm not strongly looking for any kind of position right now, so it's sort of interesting to see both sides of the experience. And this seems like a no-brainer in terms of like this right now feels like exactly what I felt like when I was screening for interviews. So it's pretty good, pretty valuable, I would say, for whenever you look for a job next, whenever that is.
Cool. Yeah, good to hear. All right, cool. Well, it was great talking with you. Well, I guess since you're not looking right now, I don't want to wish you like best of luck or anything, but when you do look down the future, I hope it goes well for you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, bye.